Hey, welcome to Agents Influence Podcast Conversations with me, Jason Cass. And today I am here with a president, with a CEO. Her name is Tara Kelly. Now, if you go out there, you got to put Tara Kelly, because I know you're probably wanting to search her right now if you happen to not be exercising or driving in the car. Maybe you're sitting at your desk. Go out there and look at her at LinkedIn. You'll see there's a lot of Tara Kellys. This is an inside joke between Tara and I so far because I could not find anything about her. And then you'll find when you find her, there's a lot of stuff about her. So you got to do Tara Kelly, President and CEO of SPLICE Software Incorporated. As you guys know, this is a conversation. We're not here to talk about Splice. It is important that we know who Splice is and why she did what she did, and created what she did as far as a business and a product and a service. And I look forward to talking about that. But you're going to also find out that she has a couple other superpowers. And we're going to discuss those superpowers and kind of pull out of her the stuff that could benefit you that maybe you don't think about, maybe you don't realize. This is stuff that's happening, maybe happening. We're going to talk about all that stuff. Am I right, Tara?
Absolutely. We're going to get it done.
That's right. I agree. And I want to also tell you, I think you're probably listening to this today. It is June 22nd. It's 9:10 in the morning. And I want to let you know that BrainShare is starting to close. So it's an invite only. The invites are coming in now that it's starting to pick up. You're probably listening to this probably in July or August, and you really need to go to AIBrainShare.com. Check us out September 13th, 14th, and 15th in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. So anyways, Tara Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm always doing good. My mentor told me one day, he said, any day above ground's better than 6 feet under. I said, you know what? I said, Mike, I think that's got to be correct. So I think it's true.
Not going to know till you test the other side, but I'm willing to make the bet with you.
Good answer. I like that, Tara. All right. So, we want to get a little bit about you, but first, we have a way that we do it here at Agents Influence. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You an iPhone or you a Droid user?
Oh, I'm a Droid user. Open environment.
I told you she was awesome. Loyal listeners, I thought I told you that, but now she just proved it. What's the last app that you downloaded, Tara?
Ooh, I'd say the last app is a Clued Up. I did a weird scavenger hunt through downtown with some friends on the weekend, and I deleted it when I was done, but I did download it.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. It's been forever since I've did that. Like almost when I was a teenager, and it's still just as fun, isn't it?
It actually really is. And we dressed up in costumes and it was great. And most people did. There was about 500 people in the downtown core just following a scavenger hunt, trying to find the murderer. It was great.
And you're probably smarter than you were when you were younger. I'm thinking to myself, like, I was lost at that stuff when I'm younger. Now I kind of know things, so maybe I could be a little bit better. So anyways, do you love to win or do you hate to lose?
Oh, I love that question. I'm going to have to be really honest. I hate to lose. I like to win. I like to win, but I hate to lose.
Do you? Yeah. I know. Everybody's got their thing,
Mm-hmm.
It all comes full circle. Luck or skill? What's the one that got you to where you are? Maybe they were both a part of it, but what was 51% or more that got you today? Luck or skill?
I always say luck. I believe that luck comes from lots of hard work. As long as you can get people to work with you that are smarter than you, you don't necessarily have as much skill as some of the brilliant people around you. And I think, obviously you want to keep up with them and not drive them mad. But I actually believe luck. I think luck is a powerful thing. It's keeping your eyes wide open. It's setting your filters to let luck in. I go luck all day long.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you just feel, Tara, and this is nothing to brag over other people. I think a lot of people feel this way if you're looking for it. It's almost like you have somebody watching over you sometimes, right? And if you're religious or not, that's not where we're going with this. I'm talking about the fact that it's like sometimes it was like, man, I was getting ready to make my mistake and my mom didn't stop me, but something stopped me, from maybe not making that mistake. We all make lots of them, don't get me wrong. But some of the best ones, maybe it's intuition, Maybe it's other things. I don't know. But the world sometimes works for those who work with the world.
You just got to roll with it. I think it's you just show up and play the cards in your hand. And yep, that's how I definitely choose it. Play the cards in your hand and play every one of them. Don't hold any of them back.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there, sister. I feel like we kind of getting that. We're kind of
Getting
kind of there a little bit.
finding the place.
Yeah, it's quick. It's going quick. Take us back to high school. Take us back to college, and bring us forward to where you are today. Like, how did you get where you are?
Hmm.
Give us that in about 3 to 4 minutes.
Absolutely. So I actually started programming when I was 9 years old. I think if my dad was an auto mechanic, I would have been tinkering behind the hood of a car. But turns out he wasn't. He was an early software programmer, and we had
Ah,
an amazing one at home. So you can imagine that had a big effect. Let's
huge.
fast
Yes.
forward to high school. It wasn't really that much fun. I decided I wasn't going to stay in computer science in any way, shape, or form. I was just going to go pure business. I was going commerce. And I really let that side of me just sort of sit on mild pause for a while until I opened up a health food store. I got dared. It's a long story for another podcast, but I opened up a health food store damn near on a dare. Largest bank of Canada lent me six figures, and I was scared to death. And I have that picture, a picture of that letter right now, still in my closet. And I actually sat there and said, "Well, no one's going to be crazy enough to ever give me this much money again. I should definitely try it." That goes that luck thing. You got to filter it through. I popped that place up on a main street in our city, and I started having health practitioners doing appointments. I ran the front office. This is, way back. This is early days, 97, and I'm going to date
Mhm.
myself. Obviously, I was an infant. But that kind of led to the next thing because really quickly I realized that if these people didn't show up and I couldn't make commission off their appointments, life wasn't great for me, and I was terrified of cash flow. I'd left university to do this and said, I'll finish my degree. I've got 10 years. Um, and so I built a reminder system. And at that point, it was, Crystal and Mike from Microsoft. And I said, oh my God, these sound terrible. Well, I'll just get them to record little libraries and we'll splice it together. And that was a really funny time because so many contacts and people I knew and other people in software kind of came back out. And there I was writing code and starting back into that world. Fast forward to today, we bought out a lot of the patents and splicing technology when we launched Splice in 2006. And our goal really was to be there for people and help create customer experiences that were based on permission. So whether it was going to be a better automated call, a better voice experience, I just knew that there was an opportunity to really serve large enterprise. It happened one day when I was talking to a friend, doing a banking call actually myself, and I said out loud, but like talking to myself, I said,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, I do better for dog groomers." And a little light bulb went off in the old brain. I thought, I wonder who pays more. Wonder where the opportunity is larger, where we could make a bigger impact. And with that, fast forward, here we are today, serving insurance companies, financial institutions, and retailers, helping them do calls, text, email, voice first, whether Google Home or Alexa, and having conversations that their clients need and want to have.
So you're a tech company, or are you a consulting company that helps people with tech? What is that? Explain that
Super
to me.
good question. We set up a platform and we offer our service with microservices. You don't have to use yet another platform. Dear God, that's the last thing anybody wants, another platform. And so it's really just a bolt on microservice. We do a hair. We have a small division for professional services, but our goal really is to enable configurations versus custom builds. I won't say that we never get twisted by a really fun, good client to just sort of bend it or a little bit. But
Mhm.
we do host a simple single stack, right? So we are software, and we go to
Mhm.
market as a service. So it's a software as a service play, but professional services plays in at about 20%. And I don't know, I think people like to be in the driver's seat, but they do like the data that comes by having of hundreds of millions, of other interactions come before you. You can really get that AI and best practice. So yeah,
And
it's a
so
great space.
you guys have software that allow you to analyze calls or whatever and transcribe it and pull data from it. I want to because I'm kind of working together with you. I'm trying to so you're helping the companies make their systems talk or actually pulling data and behavioral stuff out of it.
Basically, the system sort of is going to put out a queue for us. So let's just give an example. First notice of loss. It's just a simple one, right? F and OL
Mhm.
comes in, especially during catastrophic events, right? So you got a cat event. We're going to let them know, Okay, thanks so much. We got your FNOL, and here's your adjuster. Now, let's just say the person didn't plan on having an accident. I'm being facetious. They didn't plan on
Yeah.
having an accident. They probably
Hmm.
don't have the app downloaded right away, and it might
Right.
not be the first thing they think about on the road or right after a tropical storm or a
Sure.
hurricane. So, anyways, we're
Sure.
going to call them and recognize we have that FNOL. And if it's a mobile line, immediately we're just going to say yes and transfer. We'll text you their contact info, and then that phone call turns into a text, and now they're texting back and forth with their adjuster. And so when you try to say, well, which is it? Sometimes I think that's a business first mindset. The customer just wants to seamlessly get the job done. And
Hmm.
our job as companies and platforms and providers is to seamlessly allow you to move between these things. Let's say you're chatting back and forth and it starts to go badly. You're mad and confused. Just press dial, call that number, right?
Right.
So we
Hmm.
really support workflows. It's about automated workflows that get the job done. And so we just really pull out key points in the journey. Maybe it's a premium change, and the adjusters and the agency really needs to talk to them again. The broker wants to reach out. You've had a premium change. This is the perfect time to touch base. So throughout that customer journey map, there's all these different points where you should
Hmm.
really be engaging in a dialogue. And I have a bit of a belief, and I think a lot of us share it. Let's let people talk to people when they need to, and machines talk to machines, or machines do a great job until they need a person. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of opportunity to streamline things, and people don't hate the ones that work well. And it's the ones that don't, and we really hate those ones. But that's why you need to let them move, because when they hit the frustration point, they need to seamlessly move between channels.
So how would that help? And I see that with the insurance companies.
Hmm.
How does that help agencies, right? How does
Yeah,
that help agencies that aren't large and don't have a ton of cash, but yet they want to institute some simple stuff like that? And you also said that you don't have a platform. So would agencies use this? And also, how do you use our own technology to do that?
great question. So I'm going to start at the one. We have a platform. Our point is you don't have to access our platform once you hook it up to the other ones, right? So our
Gotcha.
goal is that it seamlessly works. You're not going to log in, can you imagine every single broker in your agency log into another place every day? It's
No,
not going to make them happy, right?
no.
So let's take that off the table. There is a platform. It's just you don't have to constantly be in there. You set it up and it
Hmm.
goes. So
Okay.
one of the really huge use cases, especially right now with so much return to work, so much new policy, benefits. Let's pick on benefits if we can. This is an area where really as an agency, you stay involved a bit more. You getting those guys set up, checking that this is the right one. What's their utilization? Where are they going with it? Even just during open enrollment season, just resending those forms, just notifying people where it's not complete, just sending them the appropriate links, sending them out a text that goes seamlessly to a link to the site, to the secure place to finish, doing
Wow.
training announcements. So maybe you're going to do a webinar on their new, health benefits that are included. A lot more proactive care has come out since COVID. So for agencies, there's really three primary ones. One is enrollment. The other is quote follow up. Quote follow up is a tough time. We all know people use aggregators, right? So you got a whole bunch of aggregators bringing in all these leads for you. You got to reach them quickly and in their preferred channel. So we provide the ability right at that first pop up screen online to get a text consent. Now you can follow up in their favorite channel. That makes a massive difference. And so that really feeds the agencies
Wow.
and they love it. That's by far one of our
That's
most
cool shit.
leading. Yeah. It puts money in your pocket pretty fast
So
and
you kind of so your professional services might be, and loyal listeners, I hope you're getting something from this. I wasn't anticipating speaking about this long, but this is very interesting, and I think loyal listeners, you do agree. Like this is something that you really don't hear a lot about someone who's taking the automation of the customer experience, and I think that Tara is one of the hardest things for us, our agency. Number one, we're busy doing other things, and that's a
yep.
legitimate excuse. I used to think that wasn't legitimate, and then COVID happened, and I saw agents doing things they should have always done, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, they really just didn't have time, right?
Mhm.
Um, But then I'm looking at this and saying we're insurance agency owners. We don't know the technology. So then what we do is we go hire somebody and we say, hey, I need you to set up these automations with my Salesforce or my management system. And then the
Exactly.
person goes, okay, I'm ready to do it. Let's write out like a map of how this goes. And the agent's like, well, shit, I don't really know because I've never done texting and all that shit before.
Yes, yes.
Right. And so here you guys come, and I can see that's how your personal services plays into that, because you've probably done this so much, you know, some of the touch points. Like you've brought up four that, and I'm just saying it was three or four that like I'm
Yeah,
like, man, I never really thought of that. Like, duh,
yeah.
that makes sense. And then like doing the ultimate, finding them on different channels. That's a
Hmm.
different thing that I hadn't heard about before. So,
Hmm.
little listeners, I hope you feel the same way. This is not a commercial for her, but this is very interesting because I think that this is something we don't hear a lot about, you know? We
We
don't.
don't hear enough. I mean, and so and you're right. Well, we can continue through this, but there's two really other important pieces. You having an account manager that's done this lots of times, that knows where to start, and then we measure for full ROI within 90 days. I'm not messing with you. Like, you've totally financially received your reward. We don't take use cases that don't make sense, right? So sometimes we'll say, you know what, I get it. You're in love with that idea. I don't know how that's going to work. We're going to recommend you go talk to Dan down the street. He might be able to set that up for you, but we just aren't sold on it. And so we really try to be a partner.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the important thing, because there's a lot of opportunity when a customer says, or a prospect says, let's stay in touch. I'm going to give you permission to talk to me in my favorite places. Ooh, you are in a nice spot then, and you have
Right.
way more opportunity.
So Tara, let's geek out. Loyal listeners, here we go. So I believe that the customer experience used to be customer service, and then used to be customer experience. I
Yeah.
wrote a book back in 2015 called Customer Service is Just Foreplay. It's the modern customer experience that will separate you. And I believe the modern customer experience, from the books that I've written, the great articles that you may have put out, and other people, now customer experience is like a word everybody's using. In 2014, 2015, people were like, customer experience, like, what does
Right.
that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now I've noticed that it's transformed. And this is why, loyal listeners, this conversation I'm having, it's almost like the planets align here with Splice, because I think it has to do with the expectations and the unexpectations of what the client is expecting or doesn't even realize that they should be expecting. Data is going from categorical data to behavioral data, right?
Yep.
The problem with this is, okay, let me give a scenario. So Apple requires that they have Apple Watches, okay?
Yep.
And they get a discount on their health insurance. And then, but part of that, they are part of certain gyms and they do certain things. And all these systems talk to each other. Now, the
Yep.
systems probably don't talk, but there's some kind of automation going on
Absolutely.
that when Jim from Apple doesn't go to the gym, now let me see, let's say Larry from Apple goes to the gym
Mm-hmm.
and he goes in, he hasn't been there for 2 weeks. That gym notifies Apple and says, hey, da 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 da. They hit up Larry. Larry says, hey, wife took a new job. I got 2 kids now. Now I can't go. And then boom, boom, bing, he gets a text from the fact that there's a babysitting service that will give him 1 hour for free. And he's like, I know, but we only have one vehicle and my wife has the car. And boom, he gets another text from Uber saying that they're, and these are discounts that the health insurance, Apple, whatever could put into these. My point is, for that all to happen, you have to have a splice.
Mm-hmm.
You have to splice. I now see the word, and it might mean something actually because it's all capitalized. But
Yep.
but I now see how you're splicing that together, because when I've
Yeah.
talked about that for 2 years, I've created that scenario, and people, including me, are like, "That's true, but I don't know how that shit's gonna happen." It's
We're
companies
so
like you.
close.
Yes, it's companies like you that are pioneering that. Am I wrong or right, Tara?
Yeah, no, we're right in the middle of that. I'll give you. I love that example because there's value coming back in your example. That's really nice. Another one that's not even about making the deal, but I love this story, and we set up set up a test environment, ran this, and it's not live because the world's not quite ready. But when you're picking up your car after an accident and it's not ready on time, please, has anyone had that? Of course you have. And right, it happens. And then what do you have? Immediately you want to know, well, can I keep my rental? Is immediately in your brain. And so the first call is, hey, is my car ready? Because they often don't tell you. They want to wait until it's good news. So nobody tells you. If you're contacting them, wait, is my car ready? Next thing, you got to contact them. Wait, can I keep my rental? There's your second call. Next call, do I have coverage to keep my rental? Right? Do they know this? This one blows my mind. This is something literally you should be able to ask Alexa or your phone or your watch. Let's ask your Apple Watch, right? Hey, can I keep my rental car? Everybody already has the answer. And so that was the data we triangulated, is immediate notification out to the rental car company, giving them several options, 3 actually, to confirm whether you were ready. It could even be a touch tone. Some of those shops are low tech, some of them are high tech, right? Which immediately cues the rental company and sends out a proactive message on behalf of your carrier telling you can keep that car. Oh my God, how good is this, right? And this is available. Here's the gotcha. The gotcha, I think, on this is that the world hasn't decided they trust business enough to share and say yes to sharing that data. And we've really seen privacy move to the forefront, and consent and opt in and all of these rights. And we just want to have so many rights. And yes, that's good and important, but you can't have free lunch and just keep all your rights and share it in a box, right? So if free lunch is a discount for your Uber ride to the gym, or a babysitter, or free lunch is just making no calls or 1 call to find out you can keep your rental, you got to share that data. And I think what we're really doing for the average Joe as a disservice is just not making it clear and easy what we're going to do, right? And with that data, California, Consumer Privacy Act really was a neat step forward. And so far, it's been a huge challenge for everybody in their data practices, and made people think, God, can I do business in this state? And people have worked around it. You got GDPR, you've got all those things, but at the end of the day, it's not just the data you store and share. It's also where and how can you talk to me? And I think that the onus is on businesses to step up and make that question easy.
How can you talk to me? I love that. Learning how you can talk to me. I heard somebody say the best way to teach somebody is the best way they know how to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Exactly. The best way to talk to somebody is to know who that person is. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
One of the things that I just love about what you're saying, it falls in line with everything, is that, gosh, you just said something that I wanted to catapult off of, which was really powerful. Anyways, I think what is the are people really using Google? What is the Alexa? What are the company's thoughts on that when you talk to them? Do they see in 3 to 5 years that I'd be able to say, hey, Alexa, when is my car payment due? Right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think so. We're hosting a lot of different skills and actions, but the uptake isn't quite there yet. I want to tell you it is, and I want to pump it up and say, no, people are super comfortable with it, but it's really not quite there yet. So I think right now in the adoption cycle, most people, and let's think about it ourselves, you're using it to know what's the weather, playing music, maybe recipe stuff, right? And maybe check your calendar. That's kind of the most advanced. And so if you look at any of the research that's been done, whether it's sort of the hype cycle, the Gartner Classic Hype Cycle, we're kind of in a bit of we're coming out of that trough of disillusionment, because she's not completely smart. You know what I mean? She doesn't always know. And by the way, she called that contact she wasn't supposed to a while ago, right? So when you look at like new products like Sidewalk, right, by Ring and by Amazon, and sharing a network, isn't it a great idea that you could walk out, and chase, right? Like chase your dog.
I just read about that.
And
loyal listeners, what she's talking about is Sidewalk, which is a new thing to where when you leave your network, you would be able to hop on other people's network as you're just walking down the road, right? So
totally.
someone would be able to hop on my network. Now, I just know that sounds so astronomically mind-blowing. And right now, all you loyal listeners, I want you to timestamp this in your head, right? Into how weird it would be that someone would legally get onto your network, right? So keep in mind, it's June 22nd, and I want you to revisit this.
2021. Yeah, timestamp it all the way.
20 days, yeah, because it'd probably already be a normal thing in 2022. But think about that right now, how you're shocked. Now, why you're shocked is because you can't imagine someone being able to be on your network and that be safe. It's
Right.
kind of like when we told you in 2006 you would have something that fit in your pocket that would tell you all the answers to the world, which is your cell phone. We didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
cell phone at the time to be able to put that together in our head. So there's going
Mm-hmm.
to be new technology. Something I want to talk about with this, which goes back to the way the world works, Tara. I remembered what I was going to say. You kind of brought this up, and I like this. Um, it comes back to trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about privacy, because a lot of people would say, I don't trust that company with that data. I
Mm-hmm.
don't trust. What are they really doing with the data that's going to be detrimental? I imagine there's good and bad and everything, and there's something they could do. But they're using the data because it's helping market to you. They're probably marketing to you because you're 8 months pregnant and there's things you're going to need in month
Sure.
10, right? They're doing those type of things. And people say, and this is where I want to get your point here, Tara. They say, yeah, but I don't trust them. I think that's bullshit. The reason why, I was just thinking of this. I'm driving down a 2-lane highway. I don't know if that's 2-lane or 4-lane. It's 4-lane, but it's 2-lane the way that I
Mm-hmm.
know.
Two on your side. It's
Right? Yeah,
complicated.
we're always confused on that. So there's 2 lanes this way, 2 lanes this way.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones that only has two lines in the middle. And I mean, you're buzzing by somebody at 55 miles an hour and they're buzzing by you this way. And we're within 3 feet of each other.
Sure. Sure. Let's talk about trust. Yeah.
There's all kinds of wrecks. You
Mm-hmm.
know this, that people die right now of a car wreck. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but yet we still have that. It
Mm-hmm.
just takes a while for us to understand and build that trust. But it's important because we don't use a lot of space, right? When we have to build a lot of interstates and habitway, it saves
Totally.
habitat. There's a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff that comes. So
Yeah.
trust, I think, is a BS example only because we don't know, not necessarily that we don't trust. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's also that we don't trust what we understand the benefit will be. Like, so we know we want
Mm,
that highway. I also know I want a second lane because I need to pass that guy that goes way too effing slow, right? Excuse the right that.
hmm
But right, so there's all these other things that I want, and so it gives me things that I want quite quickly, quite honestly. It
I
depends how
like
fast they
that.
put the road together, but
Yeah, I
teasing
know.
on that. But I think when you look at privacy and data, and I'm going to let them have my data, how fast are they going to give me what they want? I think the question is, we don't trust. I don't know if it's about as much that we think, oh my God, and then somebody's going to have my information, and God forbid I'm going to have to cancel my visa and get them to FedEx me a new one. Like, it is not that bad. Don't get me wrong, it's very bad, but it's not that bad. Like, there's so many things you can do to protect your identity now. Is that really, like, are we all just so scared of identity that we don't want anything else to be good in our life? Because identity theft is so terrifying. It's
Right.
terrifying. It's going to cost you some time. So I think we don't trust that it's going to be that good. And I actually love this point you're bringing up because it kind of ties back to the beginning. Are you wanting to win? Or are you scared of losing? And I don't even know if I like my answer the way
Mm,
it plays out with this one because I said I hate to lose. Therefore, I password everything a certain way and I manage my life a certain way. Maybe that's why, because I share my data constantly. I'm hoping you'll figure something out useful for me. I'm
that's right.
really hoping,
I feel the
right?
same way. I
I
feel
need
the
help.
exact
Help
same
me,
way.
help me tons.
That's
Um,
right. Like I'm busy in my life. If you can give
mhm.
me more things in front of me, and not only that, we also oh how fast we forget, Tara. How fast we forget that back in the 90s and the early 2000s, I was getting commercials that women should be getting for their
Sure.
things, and I'm like, "Why
Yes.
am I getting this?" And women
Yes.
are getting man things, and it's like, but now you
Yes.
don't get that.
Right.
Right? Now we're
Yeah.
getting, you probably still do, loyal listeners, but I'm talking
Occasionally.
80% of it now is
Yeah.
funneled towards you, you
Yes.
know?
And I
And
think like
so
cookies are a good step. So let's take one that we've done well and let's try to just build on that because all good things with AI and automation and data require the consumer to step up and play ball for a better planet. And it's
that's right.
required.
That's
So
right.
now we've realized, well, I want on that website. God damn it, I wanted the website. That box is pissing me off. Right? So I say yes to the cookies. Okay, yes to the cookies. Do you like the cookies? No. Do you want them to store it? No. Do you even understand what they're keeping on you? Maybe. But the point is, you want the ugly box to go away and you want to have fun on the page.
So
And so I
true.
think that's where we have to help the consumer really get the benefits. And I think texting might be the next frontier with that. And then I think voice is going to come along. So if I could be watching, Amazon Prime and really like those boots she's wearing, wouldn't it
Mhm.
be nice if I could say that? right? And be like, oh, Reese Witherspoon's boots. Alexa, put it on my buy list. I think I would use it maybe like that. That'd be very easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Your husband wouldn't yell, you're on your phone while we're watching this, right? Your kids wouldn't tell me not to use my phone. Whatever the case is, I think it has to be like the cookie box, right? That pops up and says, have you said yes? So can we? Because you want it to go away and you want to get back to the thing you want.
Right.
And we need to keep the candy there, I think I
Right.
think as businesses, that's a part of our lesson.
And I should just be able to put in my Chrome browser, like anytime somebody asks you cookies, do you want it? Because I say
Right?
yes. Now maybe that's
Yes.
bad as not. So I told my wife the other day, I said, honey, I don't know what that data they could find out me. I'm a pretty good person, right? To become an insurance agency owner, we have to go through these backgrounds. And I remember, Tara, they gave me this book of everything that I've done in my life. And I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm a pretty good person.
This
There's
looks
nothing in
great.
here.
We should start
Looks
as an
good.
autobiography. Yeah.
So I'm trying to go buy my wife some stuff, right? This just happened. And I'm bouncing around, and she's like at these stores in this little mall thing, and she's like, hey, what you trying to buy something to, like, she's just like, did you get some shorts or pants? She knows that I like clothes. Okay, so it's like a thing. And I'm like, uh uh no, I was just looking, and I'm thinking to myself, I walk out of the room and I'm like, shit, Dada got me. She was able to trace me, and so I'm like, okay, because I'm never doing anything bad, but it can still, and I'm like, damn it. So anyways, I just got to remember, click it off. Then she'd be like, hey, why'd you turn off your,
Why'd you turn off your phone? You're going to get an alert about that.
we have
And
Life
it's because we
360,
want
we
to
have
find
kids.
our phone when we lose them, right? So that's why we let that darn tracker on. Or we want it to tag our photos so we can make albums easier. Absolutely. And I think as our businesses in our personal lives really start to blend, but the one thing I do love is that everybody got more tech savvy in this last year. No matter who
Come
you
on.
are,
Love
there's a
it.
couple things. And I argue with people of my most savvy friends, and your most techie friends, and I say, really, is there nothing new? And people always have one. There was just a lot, and you just really moved. Whether it was just the way you changed your grocery order or what it was to digital, and I think as businesses, that's that tricky thing. We need to keep that better life. Because we did it for the benefits. We did it because we needed to, and we did it to make life work. And as things come back, and we need to keep those really good things and not lose this progress. And I think we are, but I think for all of us, we need to challenge people on with a benefit, right? And say, okay, we can make your life easier. And see what happens. But it's going to be a really interesting time because everything is coming down to permission. There's nothing you can do for somebody, even if they need it, if you don't have permission to contact them. And I'm going to go back for 5 seconds just because it really fits here. Is so what if I really need insurance? I need insurance. I just got my car again. I have an apartment. I'm ready to get going. I need insurance. I finally got that job and I'm going to drive to work. I bought this car. I'm doing all these online quotes. I want you to bind it as fast as possible. I need you to get back to me. Maybe I couldn't answer my phone. Maybe I need to text with you. But yet you can be sued if you don't have my consent, right? Oh my God, this is crazy. I didn't text you first. I just filled out a form. And I think that's where we're seeing it is asking for permission isn't have to be seen as a favor for a business. It's so I can give you what I know you want. It's so I can take way better care of you. And I think as consumers, we need to connect with that too. And I'm hopeful for things like yes to all cookies. Yes to sites I fill out a form on. If I'm going to give them all my other contact information, am I really saying I can't? Because as long as you keep that promise of if I say stop, no means no, stop means stop, text back no, then you're fine. I should be able to opt into anything I want when I want it and then opt back out. And that's another data point that we collect a lot of with hundreds of millions of records on that opt-in permission. And this is frustrating but fair. This is how I describe it to the client. Frustrating but fair. Consumers give and take consent whenever they want. Just get used to it. It is not a permanent state, right? And so I think we need to have that in order to have all these goodies that the data and AI can do. We just have to because we've demanded it, and so we're getting what we asked for.
Pitting back to what you said about the pandemic, I agree. I have real life statistics on there. So there's a company called Canopy Connect, And
Mhm.
Canopy Connect allows me to connect into and pull deck pages from my competitors, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
with my customer or prospects consent, right?
Yeah.
Man, we had this product before pandemic and we didn't barely use it because we would ask people, "Hey, do you have an online account?" They'd be like, "No, we don't have an online account." We're like, "You don't make your payment online?" They're like, "No, no, no, it comes out electronically, whatever." Like,
Mhm.
okay. So like for every 10 we would ask, it'd be like one or two. Now we use that thing. Pff, all of them have online accounts, and you're
Yeah.
just
There you
like,
go.
bam, bam, bam. I'm gonna say not all. I'm gonna say 6 to 7 of them have online accounts now because they had to make those payments that way.
Mhm.
Another problem we have, Tara, is that we have a lot of people that agencies that work old school, which means they still have a counter in the front and the customers still come in and make the
Sure.
payment. And a
Mhm.
lot of agents have wanted to break away from that for a long time. And it's just hard because that's the person who's always done that. I've talked to agents who are like, because of the pandemic, I was able to get away from that. Like these people
Yeah.
had to call in. A lot of them just want to come in, literally not to even have coffee and say hi. That's what they do is their routine and they don't want to
Yep.
break it. But the
Yep.
pandemic now, they had to call the payment in. They finally had to go on electronic transfer and it saved a lot
Mhm.
of agents. And those are the things that sometimes we don't see. Tara, wrap it up here. Been a great conversation. I totally get who you are, your genius behind probably well, not probably, but what your company is. And I think it's very unique because this is going to be something where people need to splice together
Yeah.
these different technologies, experiences, touch points, so that you can create that customer journey and give it to the way the customer wants it. And when we all know that, not all of us,
Sure.
the top 10 to 20% in this industry already have figured that out. But what
Mhm.
we are having a problem doing is number one, finding the products that talk to each other. But even
Mhm.
when they do talk to each other, how are you using those effectively to drive the customer experience? We're always thinking about driving service or driving sales. And I
Yes.
think when we realize that those are intertwined, now we create a great customer experience. What do you think, Tara? Wrap it up for us.
Customer experience is about creating value for me, and money is a beautiful part of value, and so is the experience with it. So I'm with you, completely. It's about the customer's experience, about bringing them joy, and saving them from painful things. That's why we're here.
That's right. That's right. They have a problem. They expect us to give them a solution. You know,
Absolutely.
they expect us to give a solution. I heard Kelly Donahue Piro said something to me one time. When agents think that they want to get off the phone, or maybe the prospect, the client wants to get
Mhm.
off the phone really quick with them, or the prospect, is really not needing all this information. She reminded me of something. And she reminded me of there's two ways to buy insurance. You can buy it either online yourself, or
Yep.
you can call an agent and get help. When they called you, Jason, they chose an agent.
Yeah.
When they chose an agent, they chose that type of service. They wanted that kind of customer experience, and I
Yep.
think that really made sense. I don't know if you necessarily know who your boo is because you watch Hulu. Maybe you spend your time on Amazon Prime or get your kicks on Netflix. But late at night, when you're trying to veg out, what are you watching, Tara?
I actually watch a lot of Discovery Channel. I do watch a lot of documentaries and history. I think so much of our answers for the future do lay in how we responded to the events of the past. I
Mm-hmm.
think human behavior is actually still so much the same. We're trying to find pain, avoid pain and find pleasure. And I think we've done it since the beginning of
Well
time.
said.
And I
Well
love the
said.
simplicity of that. So if I'm not watching, a fun, funny comedy with somebody. I love a good comedy. I typically look at history or planet Earth because I think there's a lot of answers there.
Leaders are readers, and I know you're a leader, so you must be a reader. What are you reading right now?
I'm reading again, and it's just always powerful. Brene Brown, Dare to Lead. Um, I think
Lead.
I think finding a way to create space for your people as they come back into the office. This is another change, and we talked about it briefly, but this time right now is harder for people than you realize because we just got used to another way, and now we're full throttle again, and it's another adjustment. So as a leader, I do think showing up with space, I'm so jazzed that we're full. Everyone's getting so busy. We've had so many projects come up and it's just been so busy, and I'm just ready to give her. And some people are still adjusting. So it was a nice, important reminder for me to create space for the right dialogues with my team. And it slaps me around a little, and a few things always sting that she says. So that's kind of what I needed.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Tara, I appreciate you being there and splicing life together. I can only see that you're going to probably have a lot of competitors, and you'll probably you probably whoop
Wipe the
their
floor
ass.
with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably whip their ass in the process. So thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being on the show.
This was Tara Kelly, and I am Jason Cass, and this was Agents Influence Conversations with me. Remember, tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas, and I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This is Cass. She's Kelly. We're out.